Hello, Father Gilbert. Good morning. Thank you for your welcome. It's a pleasure to be here in your wonderful university, St. Louis University. We will have a talk about your university, and so my first question will be, could you tell us a few words about the history of your university, when that has been established, and who created this wonderful university?
Thank you for this opportunity, Professor Mabille. The university, St. Louis University, was founded in 1911, and the CICMs, or the Congregation of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, came to this region in 1907. And when they started the parishes in this region, they also established schools. So actually, the university started with a one classroom school for boys, and from there it started growing, because then it also was used as a tool for evangelization, and a very important tool for evangelization. That is why our CICM fathers thought that whenever they establish a parish in a town or in a city, they always also establish a school next to it, because it really helps them in the evangelizations of peoples, and not only the evangelizations of peoples, but also the education of the population. And here we have a very important task. We were asked by the Bishop of Manila to come to the Cordilleras to specially evangelize the peoples of the Cordilleras. And that is why we established these Catholic schools, and they were the tools of evangelization for our CICM fathers in this region.
As you explained, it has become a very important university 1 century ago. You have been created, and now how many students do you have?
At the moment, we have about 30,000 students. 24,000 are enrolled in higher education, and 6,000 are enrolled in basic education. So it is quite a big number of students that we cater to. About 60% of those students come from the region. When I say region, the Cordillera Administrative Region, and about 40% of them comes from the lowlands. So, which means to say that as far as Mindanao, and Cagayan in the north, and Mindanao in the south. So from all over the Philippines.
You have an influence, and you attract on all the.
Yes, we somehow attract so many students from all over, and the reason for this is because Baguio is relatively a very comfortable place to study. We have a very good weather condition, yes. But not only that, also because there is peace and quiet in Baguio.
Yes.
Compared to the other big cities in the Philippines.
I can confirm.
Yeah,
it's a real pleasure to be here in this city.
It's safe to walk around, yes, even during the night.
What are the main academic fields that you deal with, and what are the main faculties?
Yeah, actually in the university we cover almost all. So we have a School of Engineering and Architecture, which houses the disciplines of civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, electronics, mechatronics, industrial. And then we have the School of Natural Sciences and Nursing, so which houses the courses of nursing, radio technology, medical technology, biology, and pharmacy. And then we have also the School of Medicine, which houses medicine, the School of Teacher Education and Liberal Arts, which houses courses like psychology, teacher education, political science, philosophy. We also have the School of Business, which houses all our business courses, and also information technology, computers. So these are these are a very comprehensive
Yes.
university. Yes.
I've seen that you have reached a very good place in many rankings. So you have also some areas of excellence.
Yes, yes. We subjected ourselves to international rankings,
Yes.
like the Quacquarelli-Simmons, the World University Rankings, the Times Higher Education Rankings. We also have local accreditations like the ASEACCU, where we have a very high rating as a university. Yeah, and I'm glad that as a university, we also not only offer affordable education, because we are one of the few universities in the Philippines where education is quite low, but we also give very good quality Catholic education.
And you have also many international relations.
Yeah.
And among these relations, you belong to some networks, Catholic networks, but not only. One of them is the ASEACCU, and you host the General Assembly of the ASEACCU. The global topic is about care of our common home. Can you tell us a few words about how your university cares precisely our common home?
Yeah, I think that is one of the strengths of the university. The care for our common home is embedded in our curriculum, so that subjects in our university, they have special focus on sustainability and caring for our common home. But not only that, we also try to walk our talk.
Yes.
So 30% of our energy requirements in the university is on solar energy. So you see that on top of our roofs, we have solar panels, and that supplies us with energy in the university. Aside from that, we have also put in place sewage treatment facilities, which means to say that all our sewage are treated before it is released back to the environment. So there is clean water that goes out of the sewage treatment facilities when it goes to the city drainage system. So that's how we try to care for the environment, and also we require our students to bring their own flasks. We have filling stations scattered all over the university, and they can fill up their flask. We do not allow them to bring single-use plastics in the university. All these efforts, I think, is making the students aware of the importance of the environment, and giving them some concrete actions that they can do themselves, so that we really together care for the environment.
Yes, it's a really global approach.
Yes.
And you are in fact a green campus, and also educate people to have this culture of taking care of environmental issues. I was saying that you are included in many international networks. Do you have many interest for the future for having some specific relations with universities abroad?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, during this conference, we were able to ink a memorandum of agreement with 4 universities in Southeast and East Asia. But aside from that, we already have other relations with other Catholic universities internationally.
Yes.
I've been mentioning this to you, that in Europe, we have the Catholic University of Leuven. We have exchange students, especially in the field of medicine. So their students, medical students, come to our hospital for internship. In the same way, our university medical students also go to Leuven for their medical internship. So there is a two-way traffic between our university and the Catholic University of Leuven. We hope that in the future we will branch out into research, because research is one of the important components of a university, and also one of the things that international accreditors are looking for.
Yes.
Research. But I think the most important is that the research culture is embedded in the university, and that we share this with other universities worldwide. So that I'm looking forward to doing joint research with other universities in the future.
Okay, so if IFCU can do something for you, we don't recall. It's a wonderful university with many areas of excellence, and so if it's possible to create some partnerships, it would be wonderful.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, yes. I'm so happy that you're here, that you know our needs and interests, and so when you go back to your university and to IFCU, that you express to them our interests and needs.
Yes. We will change our topic of discussion. In the past, you have been also missionary and you lived in Mongolia. In a few weeks, Pope Francis will go to Mongolia. Could you tell us a few words about the relationships that exist since now 3 decades, I think, between Mongolia and the Holy See, and how the context, the historical context has changed at the middle or at the beginning of the 90s?
Yes. Actually, I go back to as far as 1921,
yes,
when the CICMs were about to go to Mongolia. And because there was a proxy war in Mongolia by the Chinese and the Russians, so that did not continue.
Mm-hmm.
And Mongolia was closed to the world for 71 years, and when communism collapsed in 1989, then Mongolia started looking for partners and diplomatic relations in the West. And the first country that they approached was the Vatican, because once you have diplomatic relations with the Vatican, the other European countries will have confidence on you. So I think that was the reason why they approached the Vatican first. But when they approached the Pope, and this was Pope John Paul II, the Pope told them that we do not have missionaries, we do not have Catholics in your country. So Mongolia said, the president of Mongolia said, why don't you not send your missionaries? And so they went back to the history, and they saw that CICM was about to go to Mongolia in 1921. And they asked us if we were still interested to go. And we said, yes, we're still we're very interested. And that's how they asked for volunteers, and I volunteered in 1992 to go to Mongolia. And we arrived in Mongolia on July 10, 1992.
yes,
And in the beginning, of course, we had a very good relations with government. We were even given a diplomatic status.
yes,
And in the beginning, it was very difficult because Mongolia was very poor. The Russians just left them like that. They took everything with them, and they were left with nothing. So there were a lot of economic, financial, social problems, and that was just the time that we were coming in. And so the first years was really looking for places where the Catholic Church can respond to the realities of the present time, at that time in Mongolia. And so we have, on my part, I was teaching in the university, English, because that was the need. Mongolians do not know how to speak in English at the time. They only knew Russian and Mongolian. So I started teaching in the university. But then also we had a lot of problems with street children. And that's how we also started the Apostolic with street children. So we put up a center for street children where they can come,
yes,
and take their meals, take a shower, and eventually we opened it also as a place where they can come and stay,
yes,
and go to school. So that was my work for 10 years.
At the same time, in fact, social issues and educational movements.
Women's issues,
Yes.
there were a lot of violence against women
Yes.
and children in Mongolia at that time. A lot of alcoholism too. Since these were the social problems that we had. Later on, after 10 years of being in Mongolia, things changed. They started discovering that they have minerals, and so they became very rich overnight.
Yes.
So the relations between the Catholic Church and the Christian churches with Mongolia had become difficult. So like visas were difficult to get. We had to renew our visas every year. Whereas at the time when we were just beginning, it was very easy because we had diplomatic status.
Yes.
So things have changed. So that is probably the context where the Pope is coming in. And
Yes.
First of all, the Pope is coming to give confidence to the small church of Mongolia. There are about 1,500 Catholics now in Mongolia, and it is a small church.
Yes.
But
That belongs to what Pope Francis called the periphery.
the periphery, yes, and this Pope is so concerned about the periphery churches, and that is probably the reason why he is visiting Mongolia during this time.
Yes. And do you think that there are also some other issues related to the religious context of Mongolia, or the focus on the periphery is the main one?
Well, issues, of course, that will boost the confidence of the Catholics in Mongolia, since they are a very tiny minority. So this is probably a golden opportunity also to make known who the Catholic Church is in Mongolia. But I think the more reason that he is going there is to really take care of these small churches, and he's done that in many places. He has visited the periphery churches in other places too. As a matter of fact, this is the second attempt. We had supposed to be the visit of the Pope in 2003, 2004. So we have been planning already for that visit in 2003 and 2004. But because of some political exigencies in Moscow, that visit did not push through, because he was supposed to stop by Moscow before coming to Mongolia. But there were some problems there, so they canceled the trip altogether. So this is the second attempt, and I hope that it's going to be a successful one.
And you will be present in Mongolia?
Yes. I did not really intend to go, because I had so many foreign trips already this year. But the Cardinal of Mongolia and my Superior General asked me to go, since I am the only one, as it were, their connection to the past. My teammate, we were three that started Mongolia. The Bishop, Bishop Wenceslao Padilla, unfortunately died very early on. And then the other one, who is a Belgian, is now 92, 93 years old, and health-wise, he cannot travel anymore. He is in Japan, and I'm the only one that is, normal, as it were. So I am their connection to the past. So that is why they were encouraging me to go back to Mongolia at this time, and to have that connection also to the past.
Thank you, Father Gilbert, for the time you dedicated to this interview. Congratulations for the wonderful work that you do here in this green campus and great university. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you also for your visit to our university, and we are so happy to host this Association of Southeast and East Asian Catholic Universities Conference.
It's a real pleasure to be with you here.
Thank you.